Namaste and welcome to this video, where I will try to explain the Mandukya Upanishad in very simple English. The Mandukya is one of the shortest Upanishads in the Vedas, but it is also considered one of the most profound. In just 12 verses, it explains the nature of reality and the self. The Mandukya Upanishad follows the path of knowledge, rather than bhakti or yoga to do this. It helps us to investigate our true nature and come to this reality through the scientific method of inquiry. The Upanishad begins by stating that all of our reality is composed of 4 aspects or states of consciousness. These 4 are called Prakritis, and they are 1. The waking state, or Jagrat. 2. The dream state, or Swapna. 3. The deep sleep state, or Sushupti. Now, we all know these first 3 states, since we experience them in our everyday lives. But when we explore further, a 4th state emerges. We often confuse ourselves with our minds and bodies, but when we think about it, neither of these is truly our real self. We must understand that in each of these 3 states, there is a single constant that is experiencing everything around it. This ever-present observer is simply our consciousness, or a sense of being. This is the true nature of the self. It is who we really are. The Mandukya Upanishad calls this self Turiya or Atman. The Upanishad explains that just as we have these 3 states of existence, so does the entire universe also have 3 states of existence. And just like our true nature is beyond these 3 states, so does the universe have a reality beyond its 3. That which is beyond the 3 states, when put in the context of ourself, is called Atman. But in the context of the entire cosmos, it is called Brahman. Then, the Upanishad makes its biggest and most important observation that the Atman is nothing but Brahman itself. Thus, the ultimate reality of the self is nothing but the ultimate reality of the universe. In one short sentence, the Mandukya says, I am Atma Brahman, which means this Atman is Brahman itself. The consequence of this great and profound statement is immensely valuable to all of us. By saying that the Atman is Brahman, the Mandukya tells us that our self, which we think of as a limited, tiny, struggling, sorrowful, and lonely existence, is not at all so. Instead, our true self is not limited by time, space, body, and mind. Our true nature is beyond all limitations and beyond all suffering. We are infinite, immortal, and forever blissful. The Mandukya Upanishad also talks about the importance of the mantra Om. It views Om as a metaphor for the Atman as well as the Brahman, and explains to us that Om is the ultimate reality of the universe and our true selves. With this short introduction, I will now narrate the 12 mantras in the Mandukya Upanishad verse by verse and translate them to English. Om Bhadram Karnebhyah Shrinuyam Deva Bhadram Pashemakshbhiryajatra Sthirairangyastustuvans Stanubhirvyashem Devhitan Yadayuva Bhadram No Api Vatay Mana. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We start first with a small prayer. O gods, may we hear auspicious words with the ears while engaged in yagyas. May we see auspicious things with the eyes. While praising the gods, may we have steady limbs. May we enjoy a life that is beneficial to the gods. O gods, lead our minds to the perfect path. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Verse 1. Ityattaksharmit sarvam tasyopavyakhyanam. Bhutam bhavad bhavishyaditi sarvamonkar ev. Yachanyat trikalatitan tadapyonkar ev. Om is all there is in the world. Everything that has existed in the past exists today, and everything that will exist in the future is Om. Whatever else is beyond these 3 periods of time, that too is Om. This mantra explains the importance of Om, but the reason for doing so is given in later verses. For now, let us proceed with the next mantra. Verse 2. Sarvam hetad brahmayamatma brahma soyamatma chatushpat. All of this universe is Brahman, and our very self is Brahman as well. Let me once again stop and bring your attention to the very important Mahavakya in this mantra, which we talked about earlier, I am Atman Brahman. This is one of the 4 great sentences in the Vedas, and it summarizes their teachings. This teaching is that the self, or Atman, is nothing other than Brahman, the ultimate reality. But the Mandukya does not ask us to take this statement on faith. In the mantras that follow, it launches into an investigation of the self, as well as God. It points out how the two are actually the same, despite appearing to be different. It starts by saying that both we and the Absolute have 4 aspects. One by one, it compares them in verses 3 to 6, and finally, in verse 7, it shows how the presence of duality is just an appearance, while actually there is only one. Verse 3. Jagrita sthano bahish pragya saptang ekonvinshati mukha. Sthul bhugvaishvanara prathama pada. The first aspect of the self represents the waking state, also known as Jagrat. This state has a physical form, or gross body. It has 7 limbs and 19 mouths. I have mentioned what these limbs and mouths are in the video's description. This physical body enjoys the objects of the waking world and interacts with things in everyday life that we all observe when we are awake. In comparison, God also has a waking state. It is the sum total of all bodies in the universe as encapsulated in one body. This universal body is called the Vaishvanara or Virat. The Bhagavad Gita calls it Vishwarupa, the physical form of Lord Krishna, as shown to Arjuna on the Kurukshetra battlefield. This form of God is the sum total of everything in the universe, including time, space, and causation. The Upanishad here draws a comparison between our physical form and the physical form of God. Verse 4. Swapnasthanontaha pragyah saptang ekonvinshati mukha. Pravivikta bhuktetso dvitiyaha pada. The second aspect of the self is the dream state. The self in this state is called Tejasa, or the subtle body. This state is controlled by the mind and has all of the same aspects as the waking world. In this dream state, everything feels exactly the same as when we are awake. The only difference is that this subtle body consumes a dream reality, not a waking one. We consume or experience only the objects of the mind in this state. In comparison, God also has a dream state. This state is the sum total of the minds of all beings in the universe and is called Hiranyagarbha. Verse 5. Yatra supto na kanchan kamam kamyate na kanchan swapnam. Pashyati tat sushuptam. Sushuptasthan eki bhuta pragyandhan. Evanandamyo hyanandabhuk chetomukha pragyastritiyaha pada. The third aspect of the self is deep sleep, or sushupti. In this state, the self does not have any worldly or physical desires. Neither does it dream anything, nor does it have any experiences. This form of the self is known as pragya. Pragya is the door to awareness because we can enter and exit the physical and dream world through this state. All of our existence is packed together in a potential state in pragya, just like a tiny seed contains the potential for leaves, fruits, flowers, and so on. Our only experience in this state is perfect bliss, free from worldly troubles and sorrows. Notice how this state is nearly perfect, just like God Himself. The next mantra tells us exactly this. Verse 6. Esh sarveshvara esh sarvagya eshontaryamesh yoniha sarvasya. Prabhvapyayo hi bhutanam. When God is in deep sleep, He is omniscient and omnipresent. He becomes the inner witness, the source of all beings, and the essence of all creation, destruction, and existence itself. In this way, the deep sleep of God can also be seen as a doorway to creation and destruction, from which the entire universe emerges and disappears again. You can see how the mantra is comparing us with God in the state. For both, deep sleep is a doorway to the physical and dream worlds. Verse 7. Nanta pragyam na bahish pragyam nobhyatah pragyam na pragyandhana. Na pragyam na pragyam. Adrishtama vyavharyam agrahyam lakshanam. Achindamavyabdeshamekatm pratyaisaram prapanchokshama. Shantam shivam vetan chaturtham manyante sa atma sa vigya. The seventh verse is the most important mantra in the Mandukya Upanishad. It explains the concept of Turiya through a series of not this statements. The Upanishad uses this method because Turiya cannot be pointed out or explained in words. Let's go through the translation. The fourth state is neither the external consciousness of the waker, nor the internal consciousness of the dreamer. It is not any other state in between either. This fourth is not the all-knowing consciousness of God either. Nor is it no consciousness. This state cannot be seen, heard, touched, tasted, or smelled. It is not an object of the senses. It is beyond transactions or interactions. The fourth cannot be inferred from other things because it has no characteristic features. Nor can it be understood simply by thinking about it because it is unknowable by the mind. Our fourth state cannot be put into words. Words can only describe things that either belong to a class, have features, perform actions, are related to others, or can be pointed out in other ways. But the self is pure existence. It has no class, no features, does not perform any action, is unrelated to other things, and cannot be pointed out in any way. None of the ways in which we understand things can apply to this fourth. Instead, we can only realize that it exists by inquiring into who the real self is. When we are waking, dreaming, or in deep sleep, who is it that is always constant and ever aware? It is the silence of the universe, the ever-present consciousness that shines its light upon everything and remains when all else fades away. This fourth is all peaceful and has no parts. It is one. Even though we may think of God as separate from us, both have this consciousness at their root. Everything in the universe is just a manifestation of this core of existence. This fourth has no name. It is simply Turiya, the fourth. This Turiya is the source of both Brahman and Atman. This is the truth that needs to be understood. Verse 8. Soematmadhyakshar mokarodhimatram pada matra matrash pada. Akar ukaro makar iti. From this verse on, the Upanishad explains how Om is the truth of the entire universe. Let's see how. That very self, expressed in sound, becomes Om. The four states of self can be mapped directly to the four syllables in Om. These are A, U, M, and the silence that follows. Verse 9. Jagrita sthano vaishvanokara prathma matra teradimatvad. Vapnoti ha ve sarvan kamanadisht bhavati ya evam ved. The waking state, or Vaishvanara, is associated with the letter A, which is the first sound of Om. Verse 10. Swapnasthanas tejas pukaro dvitiya matrotkarshat. Ubhyatvadvodkarshati ha vegyan santati samanasht bhavati. Nasyabraham vitkule bhavati ya evam ved. The second letter, U, represents the dreamer or Tejasa. Verse 11. Sushupta sthana pragyo makarastritiya matra miterpiterva. Minoti hava idan sarvam pitishch bhavati ya evam ved. The deep sleeper, or pragya, is represented by the letter M, which is the third sound. Verse 12. Amatrashch turtho vyavharyah prapanchokshama shivodvay. Evmonkar atmaiv samvishatyatmanatmanam ya evam ved. The fourth is beyond words, beyond thought, beyond language, beyond interactions, beyond all troubles, and beyond all duality. It is the silence of the universe. It is the self and is represented by the silence that follows Om. It is the essence of all existence and the source of all happiness. The one who realizes the self becomes one with the ultimate reality and attains everlasting peace and bliss. In summary, the Mandukya Upanishad is an inquiry into the true nature of the self and the mantra Om. It argues that there are three states of our existence. These are the waker, the dreamer, and the deep sleeper. Next, it identifies that in all of these states, there is a constant awareness which silently observes everything that is happening. It goes on to show that this ever-present awareness is the root of all existence, whether it be God or man. It is a single, non-dual entity. It is existence itself, consciousness itself, and bliss itself. We can realize the true nature of this non-dual self through the use of the mantra Om. This will help us achieve liberation and everlasting bliss. I hope this video has been helpful in understanding the Mandukya Upanishad. Please share your comments below and like and subscribe the channel for more such videos. Thank you for watching.